Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining the Jim Jackson Show. Live and direct from Newark, New Jersey here covering the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight. You can follow the show, of course, on IG at Jim Jackson Show, and also on YouTube at Rich Eisen Show, youtube.com, or wherever you download your favorite podcast. Listen, man, this is one of the best time of the year. And I've been fortunate for the last 5, 6, 7 years to be a part of March Madness. And I know a lot of the luster been tainted a little bit, dimmed because of NIL and because of transfer portal. Maybe, but it's still exciting. I mean, because it may not be the Cinderellas that we're looking at. And generally, by around the Sweet 16, you may have one still hanging around that could get to an Elite Eight, to a Final Four. We've seen that in the past, but the things have changed. But I am happy to be a part of what's going on. I was in Lexington last week for the first round, now here for the second round. And here tonight, I think we have the best pot of 2 games. And the reason why is because you got the headliner with Duke in Arizona, the rematch, when Duke won it back in, I think it was in November. You got Cooper Flagg, the consensus number 1 player upcoming in the 2025 draft. Tyrese Proctor, who is coming back, kind of showing his rares as a player, as a point guard. Con Knipple, another outstanding freshman against an Arizona team. And Caleb Love, who's been there, who's played against Duke 9 times now. This would be the 10th through his career, even when he was with North Carolina. It's 2 great historic programs. So that kind of is like the headline, but then you can't leave out, if you love offense, if you love up and down, if you love 3-point shooting, if you're an analytic type of person who wants 3-pointers, layups, and free throws, well, the first game with Alabama and BYU was it. I mean, 2 of the top teams in the country from, points per game, from the number of 3-point shots to offensive efficiency. These are the 2 that have been in the top 5 all year. So 2 different kind of contrasting styles, up pace, fast tempo, a lot of threes. In the first game and second game, you're going to have a little bit of that. Arizona wants to get up and down, but you have bigs, you have paint touches, you have big guards, you have some defensive philosophies involved. So, I mean, just an outstanding night for college basketball. I'm just fortunate to be a part of it. I'm also fortunate to, in this show today, have a former teammate of mine, one that I duly really respected. When I went to Sacramento, it was a transition for me. I didn't go to training camp. I kind of went in at the beginning of the season. But one player that kind of accepted me right away, kind of opened his arms to me, his family, was Mike Bibby. And my time there, as you'll see when we have our conversation, Sacramento was a special place, not just for me, but I think for a lot of players that played there, because it was a family atmosphere. So to have him be a part of the show to talk about, his legacy there, Sacramento, what he did at Arizona, but now a new chapter in his life, which is he got named the new head coach of Sacramento State. So we'll be able to dive into that, AAU, NIL, transfer portal. How has it changed? How has it not? College basketball. But it's special for me because it's NCAA tournament time. Talked to my man Mike Bibby, who did it at a high level in NBA side, but won a national title, 1997 national championship game where they beat Kentucky. And then now the back end is that we're kind of closing in on the end of the NBA season, trying to figure out what it looks like in the playoff picture. And can Boston, repeat, or is it going to be somebody else, Cleveland or OKC, that kind of takes the mantle? So I'm looking forward to this conversation. A really good friend of mine, someone who used to always tell me to pass him the ball when I was in Sacramento with him, Mike Bibby, since it is the tournament time, was it 1997, your freshman year? Arizona won the national championship, beating Kentucky. Following year, sophomore year, then you got drafted, what was it, 98?
98, yeah.
Number 2 overall to Vancouver. People don't understand what Vancouver did have a franchise. And then from there, Was on the all rookie team. Got traded. Was it
2001,
2001
2002.
to Sacramento, and then history was made once you got there. Then I connected with you in '03. Man, I thought it seemed like when I got there in '03, it felt like you had been there longer.
That's
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's just the characteristics that Sacramento had. Like everybody fit in, like no matter who.
No, it did.
Yeah, so like the fans made me feel like I was playing there forever. Like the teammates, there was never no egos, no matter what they had, other people had going on before they came. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like everybody could push each other's buttons, mess with each other, and everybody's cool. That's just how we were. I think that's what made us so good when we were there.
You know what's funny is that I tell people all the time I fell in love, back in love with the game when I got there, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a big part of it. And by being on other teams before and after that, that guys collectively don't hang around like
Yeah,
that. But
yeah,
the one time we went to a Raiders game, remember we was out there in
yeah.
box at the Raiders game. We'll go out to the movies, we'll connect, we'll go to dinner.
But
Did you see a lot of that?
even gambling on the plane. Remember, everybody be on. There
Oh,
would be 4 or 5. There'd be 15 people gambling. You know
remember
what I
Mateen
mean?
would bring his radio? He'd bring his
Yeah,
radio in the front, bring his radio. Hey,
yeah.
listen, what was it? Where were we at? We had a game in between and we went to Vegas. Remember?
Nuh-uh.
Remember when C Webb won that money? Yeah.
I don't remember.
So we were in between. I think we were playing Denver. We had a night off. We flew to Vegas. We've stayed at the Palm.
I said I might not have went.
Yeah. C Webb licked them that night too. Oh,
I
yeah.
did not remember none of that,
You don't
man.
remember that one? Yeah,
At
man.
all.
But that's D Jones who
Okay. Yeah,
didn't
I
play a
don't
lot.
think
But team
if D
who
Jones and them were there, I didn't go because I know D Jones loved to
yeah,
gamble.
yeah, he loved the gambling. Yeah. But that's what made the team special. Whether it was Vladi,
Mm-hmm.
many time I got locked in the steam room.
Yeah, yeah. You almost, I remember we was about to shower here. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, somebody must be fighting back there. You came out, shit. You almost lost your life that day, Skeets.
Vladi. It was Vladi. That was Vladi.
What, he locked you
He
in?
did because D Jones was in there, right?
Uh-huh.
And I would hit it every after practice. And I ain't pay no attention. And then he left. Man, the door was shut. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. So I'm banging on the door, right?
Yeah, I
Nothing.
heard it.
So I had to get on the ground. That little piece, there was some air that come underneath the door. I was
Yeah.
down there on there yelling,
Yeah,
breathing out of it.
man, I remember. I remember your face too when you came out of there. You almost like we almost lost you, bro. We almost lost you. Yeah, we
Hey,
almost lost you.
how disappointing was it not to be able, your time in Sacramento especially, it was the Robert Ory shot, and then the next year C Webb gets hurt. I know they brought in who was they brought in Brad.
They brought in John Clark too.
Keon was with us during
Yeah.
the time, but
Okay.
I know so close, but yet so far of how disappointing it was not to get one or at least get to the finals there in Sacramento.
I mean, it was very disappointing, especially how I think it was taken from us because
Mm-hmm.
we were definitely the best team in the league that year. And I got a story that I tell everybody, Chucky Brown, like with them loose, how them loose tree, the best owners in the world.
Oh man, unbelievable.
They had their red carpet events and, going to movie premieres and doing all this shit. And, we're in LA, so I'm talking cash shit to everybody, all the actors, they're around. And I'm like, there's nothing they could do. I'm on the radios in LA talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just upsetting that we kind of shit the bed in game 7. But as far as that was ours, I think that they did it at our own expense as far as to, let's try to have this three-peat, and what they do. But I heard that a TV deal was coming up that year, the next year. So I think they wanted the bigger markets in that championship. But I think we win that championship. Our team it goes in a whole different direction. They don't break us up as quick. And we bring in other pieces that maybe we got rid of before. Maybe keep our core, but like maybe bring you in that, play for a while and playing on good teams and
Mm-hmm.
bringing guys like you. And it just would have been different, I think, all the way around.
So how were you when it went down that you got traded? How were you? What did you know what was about to happen when you got traded to Atlanta?
So 2 years before that, so like a year and a half, like maybe a year before, maybe the year before, 2 years maybe I heard rumblings. Like it was supposed to,
Really?
I talked to Kobe. Was supposed to go to LA. Talked to Cleveland. Was supposed to go to Cleveland, so it was in between Cleveland and LA. I was going to go to, and I didn't think the Maloofs would send me in the same division to our rivals. So
Right.
it was a quick talk with Kobe, and from there kind of went out the window. But then it was supposed to be Cleveland for 2 years, and I mean it was like a done deal. Like one game, like 1 year. I was walking down. We were playing the Wizards, I remember, and they were like, "Hey, let's go celebrate down in the lobby, have some drinks or whatever, hang out. Mike's about to get traded." So we went downstairs, drank
Oh,
a little bit.
wait. Oh, wait, say that again. What?
Yeah, the night before, yeah, because I mean, there was a trade deadline, and
Right.
we heard the rumblings coming, and like, could go down to the wire, and it hadn't happened yet, but it was so strongly supposed to happen.
To the Wizards.
Yeah, no, to Cleveland.
Oh, to Cleveland. To
But we
Cleveland.
were
Okay.
playing the Wizards.
Oh, you're playing the Wizards. Okay. All right. Okay.
And so we get there to the game. My agent, David Falk, superstar agent, was
Mm-hmm.
he was in DC. So we're talking the night before. Yeah, we're pretty sure it's going to happen. Don't expect to play the next day. Trade deadline right before I get on the bus, be ready to play, Mike. So I mean, you get in that mindset, like, and I didn't know, like that was the year before I got traded. So the next year, it was supposed to be Cleveland again. I've never heard anything about Atlanta. So like
Right.
Cleveland, so I'm talking to my agent, David, and there's two trades he said he didn't hear about his whole career. Both of them were mine. I got traded. So
the first one, Vancouver to Sacramento?
no, the other one from Atlanta to the Wizards.
Oh, okay.
So because I mean he has so much power, he could block whatever he wanted to block if he really needed to. So I think that's why they didn't tell him. So he was good friends with one of the owners from Atlanta, and so All-Star break. So I go to it's like All-Star game, whatever. And my name goes across the bottom of the screen. Mike Bibby traded to Atlanta Hawks for so. So my son comes in and was like, "Dad, you got traded." I was like, "Nah." I called David. Like, David, they said I got traded to the Hawks. He was like, "Nah, just wait till after the." I said, "David, it's on fucking the bottom of ESPN." He's like, "Hold on, let me call you back." He calls me back. He's like, "Yeah, they traded you." And going there, it was like I had to play the Vlade role going to Atlanta.
Mm.
Joe Johnson was the only person that ever played in the playoffs there. We reached the playoffs. We were like 36 and I mean like 38 and whatever. We had a 38 and 44 maybe. And I had to take a different role. I came in, I still averaged around 14, 15 points a game, but they didn't rely on me like they relied on me in Sacramento.
Yeah.
For the ball. We had Joe Johnson, Al Horford as a rookie, Marvin Williams, Josh Smith. And it was like I didn't have an ego enough to where it's like, what, I gotta do this, I gotta score, I gotta come here. I kind of fit in and kind of like, hey, let's have fun. It's kind of the same stuff we did in Sacramento, Jimmy, to where when we land, all of us are going to go eat at California Pizza Kitchen. Boom, everybody goes. We're going to walk around the mall for a little bit. We're going to do this. We're going to hang out. We're going to play games the day of shoot around. And it kind of changed the culture of the team in as far as like, okay, we're supposed to be here. Let's go out there and play with nothing to lose. And by the time I left there, I think we had the last year I was there, we won 50 some games, coming from winning 30 to winning 50 2 games is a big turnaround. So it was a good change for me going to Atlanta. And like I said, I learned from you guys being in Sacramento, talking about you guys as being the older guys on the team, to be able how to control myself when I go to a different team, how to make things work, how to have everybody on the same page.
Was it, and it's still a challenge though. I mean, because you went from the Mike Bibby of leading the Sacramento Kings to Western Conference Finals to a potential championship caliber team to the ball in your hand to all of a sudden this is a whole different role. How did you reconcile? Because that's not easy. Okay,
I mean,
that's not easy.
I was fine with that. I was still getting shots.
Right.
I was still doing stuff. I still handled the ball. I was throwing lobs. I was still doing the same thing I did. It's just that they didn't rely on me like how they did in Sacramento. I was fine with it. I have no problem with, like, even when I got traded to New York, like I was kind of done before that, but Mike Woodson was like, Mike, come play one more year. And, I'd work out before the games, and he'd always feel like he had to play me. And, I told him, I was like, Woody, don't feel like don't make it. I don't want you to feel like you had to play me. Like, think, I'm cool over here. I don't have no problem being a cheerleader. I'll clap and do what I got to do for the guys in order for us to win. But if you need me, I'll get in there and play. And so my mind said, how I am, Jimmy. I was never like that. I never had to feel like that have a bad attitude. If I had a bad game, I'm gonna be a different person on the plane. I've never been like that.
That's true.
And I mean, I was blessed to be in the NBA, and I was happy to be there.
So once you retire, like a lot of people don't understand this, and I tell people the retirement part, because 99% of athletes pretty much get pushed out the league, whether that's injury, you got too old, or just can't play anymore. Rarely do athletes get a chance to say, I'm done, I'm gonna retire my own remission, and I'm gonna do it on my own. When you decided to walk away, was there a time period in between you retiring until you did something else that was it easy, difficult, challenging, or was it just, I'm Mike, I'm doing something else, you just move on?
I was ready to go the year before, you know what I mean? The drive from me was gone. Like, I lost all the drive. I work out hard, I do all this, and I got to the point where it's like, I think I'm done. I told my agent, like, I'm done. He's like, well, just try one more. I'm like, David, I'm done. Like, I don't have any more left in me. You know what I mean? And like, when I got done, I was okay with being at home, because now I get to see my kids grow up. I get to be with my family, and now I could go places. I don't have a time sheet to where, Mike, you got to be here at 11. You got to do this at 2. And at 5 o'clock, we got a banquet we got to go to. I was good with just, I'm going to the gym. I stay at the gym however long I want. I get to go home, eat. If I want to go golf, I go golf. I could, come on the couch, take a nap. I was fine with that. And I was okay with that. But, I've always wanted to coach. Like, I coached Michael after that in high school. Like, the first year I retired, the next year I was coaching the high school. And so I got into that, and it was just like, okay, I want to teach these kids. And I got to the point where I love teaching kids and want to make them better and get them to the next level, not just in basketball terms, but as young men.
Was that at Shadow Mountain?
Yeah, Shadow Mountain.
Shadow Mountain in Phoenix, and then you went to Hillcrest.
Yeah.
After that,
different, man. It was a lot of prep kids, 5-star kids that were. It was like, you only get an hour and 15 minutes to practice. But, you got to get out the gym. The volleyball's coming in. And, I mean, it like, kids will show up when they want.
What?
Yeah, I'm not practicing.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, I was only there for a couple of weeks, but I was like, man, I can't coach like this. And, promises at that level, promises are made to kids to, I told him if he comes here, he's going to start. Or if I told him this, he's going to play this amount of minutes. I can't coach like that. I got to see what's going on and give you the benefit of the doubt. You earn your way out there on the court.
Wow. Yeah. And people don't understand too, coming from your side of it too, being at a high level, you still want to be able to teach and have responsibilities for these young men that come into your system to understand what it's all about. And that led you now to, congratulations. We don't want to bury the lead of you being named the head coach at Sacramento State. Why Sacramento State? Why now? And what does the future hold for you in the program?
Well, when it opened 3 years ago, I was trying for it then.
Really?
And the timing wasn't right. Everything's on God's timing, and the time wasn't right. And so it came up again, and I put my bid in right away. In Sacramento, like I was telling people, Vancouver. I started in Vancouver, but playing in Vancouver, no one really sees you. There was times when I was walking around like, "Hey, Mike Bibby, you still play?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just got drafted." You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
It kind of restarted my career going there, and I think it'll be great to go ahead and to start my coaching career there. And I mean, I think Jimmy, I've got probably over 200 calls from people for kids already, like over 150 kids trying to come to the school already. And I mean, we're going to have our pick of the litter, and you got to do the NIL stuff now. But I mean, I think with the caliber of kids that are calling, the caliber of kids that we're going to get, that this program could be turned around in the first year.
So, but why Mike Bibby for the program? What makes you a little bit different than the other coaches that have been there before, and how can you make it successul? It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I don't mind challenge. I play the game, Jimmy, and I've taught kids, and I like to teach. You get a lot of kids. You get a lot of coaches now that Michael played for, and they get kids out there. One mistake, you pull them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now, when that kid goes back in the game, what do I got to do to stay in the game? What I usually do, he just pulled me out for, so I'm not going to do that. So you got kids second guessing themselves. I'm giving these kids the benefit of the doubt. I know mistakes are made. Go out there, play hard. Let's win some games. I'm gonna give you confidence. I'm gonna let you play the way that's fun. I'm gonna let you be held accountable. A lot of kids aren't held accountable either. And just Sacramento. I mean, it was a second home to me. I played half of my career there, and it's like a second home to me. Go back. The fans still treat me amazing there. It's like, every time I come back, there's still a lot of pictures, the love they show. And I think that Sacramento State is looking for a coach in that aspect. Even if it was me, even if it was Webb or somebody that had spent good time.
Had an attachment to it, right?
Yeah, it had good days there. That could attract kids, because there's really never been any attraction to Sacramento State. I might have the first 5-star kid to ever sign to the school, and just being there, just being the coach for 3 days. You know what I mean? So just changing that aspect and being able to get kids and get them wanting to play.
How about this? So Mike Bibby, head coach at Sacramento State. We got Doug Christie, head coach at a Sacramento King. I mean, bananas, right? And they should hopefully announce something that they're going to sign them for long term.
Yeah,
there with Sacramento. But let me ask you this: with I'm in New Jersey now for the Sweet 16 Elite Eight. Mm-hmm. So it's Duke, Arizona tonight, and then it's BYU and Alabama. Mm-hmm. But the game is different because of NIL and the transfer portal. Yeah. How do you evaluate that? And you can answer this too. Did those two components help or hurt college basketball? And if it did or didn't, why not?
I think it hurt, because now you get all these mid-major. Now there's no Cinderella team.
There's none.
And everybody's wondering why, because you throw a little money at these kids, and these kids want a quick fix. You get a quick fix. Now you
blame them?
Huh?
Can you blame them?
No, I don't blame them. Shit, Jimmy, when we were playing, we couldn't even get a slice of pizza for free.
You got that right. Right.
Like I said, I think it was right to give them something, but maybe we're giving them too much, because you got kids riding around Rolls Royces at school what Jimmy, just put it like this: if you were making more than your coach
in college,
you can't, this kid, you can't tell me, the coach, I'm making $80, you're making $3. Ain't nothing you can tell me. They're gonna get rid of you before they get rid of me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't like the aspect of that. I don't like the portal either, as far as you see adversity now. I want to tuck my tail and run.
Mm-hmm.
Brought up like that. I mean, if I wasn't starting, I'm gonna find a way to get on
the court
to start.
That's right.
Be like, let me go to a different team and just try to see if it make it easy for myself. And I mean, that's the two parts that I don't like. But in 1 year here, and now you got to go to everything. I get the kids from the mid majors and stuff doing it, because they have a better chance. But the guys that are going from Power 5 to Power 5, just to Power 5. I don't like that, man. I don't like it.
Yeah, my aspect, I think about it like this, Mike. One, I think in AAU is good and bad, and you've been around and through it. Is that the aspect of AAU, and not all programs are like this, but because you play so many games during the day, the consequence of losing is not the same. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of kids and their families. Well, we lost this one. Don't worry about it. We play again at 12 o'clock. We play again later on. So that consequence, I'm not saying for all kids, but now it's, okay, well, we lost, so it don't really matter. Well, this coach is not playing me here, so I'm going to go play for this AAU team. And we see that now being played out in college where, again, like you said, the adversity part, okay, of I'm not playing right now. I don't want to wait. I don't want to earn my stripes, and then I want to go. Now, some instances, some guys got to transfer. They got to get out. Situation is not going to work. But I do think people lean in too much on, well, the coach is too hard, whatever. I'm not playing right now. I'm getting out of here. Then they don't find it on that other side at that other school.
Grass ain't always greener, Jim.
Right.
Been the same for a long time.
And I think the NIL and the transfer portal, the NIL is going to go through some regulation. There's going to be a cap. I heard of like a $20 million cap, especially for the Power 5 schools, where 85% of that money goes to football. 75% goes to football, 15 goes to basketball, 5 goes to women's sports, and 5 gets distributed. Okay, so you have some kind of cap that you can deal with, because what Alabama or Ohio State does with their money and what can raise ain't the same as Sacramento State at D1 or Ohio U or Arizona, even UCLA.
Yeah,
so it's not balanced across the board on how this is. It's no regulation.
Yeah, for sure. And that would be the best thing to change, because that's what I'm saying. There's no Cinderellas. Like you don't see those teams, because you see the superstars from those Cinderella teams are now at big schools.
Right.
I saw something on Instagram the other day. It was like 10 kids, Cinderella stories. Now they're at Alabama. They're at Duke.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's not fair to all these other schools, because there's, like, that, Jimmy, there's players everywhere. It's just that they don't get the right. They might not be in the right situation or this and that, but there's kids to play everywhere, man. But if they do that, what you just said, I think that would help. Even the thing that happened with that I heard about Cooper Flagg. If they're offering him $15 million, if he doesn't like who the first pick is, he's gonna go back to school. You know what I mean? And like when we're playing, they take that out. Like, shit, either you're coming here or you're not. Make a decision. So and he'll be getting paid more than probably he would in the first year of his contract in the NBA. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy. But it's part of the times too. It's just like it's a catch-22, because you want the athletes, the male student athlete, to be able to benefit from their name, likeness, and image. Nobody saw the collective coming where they eventually pay players to come. Okay, nobody saw that coming. So I do think it needed time for the system to work out, so they can see what's right, what's wrong, and then implement the change. And I think that time is coming. And unfortunately, it does affect, and I'm in the game and I see it. It does affect the mid-majors, because now they've been the last couple of years kind of like a minor league to the higher school. You develop a guy for 2 years, boom, they're gone.
Yep.
And now you're stuck, and you can't recover like a Power 5 school can recover when they lose somebody.
Yeah.
Those mid-majors get hit, man.
Yeah, and the same thing, I think, I'm kind of glad it wasn't like that when I was there, because I think my drive, my drive was to get to the NBA. Like I have nothing at home. I need to make a living for my family. I'm gonna bust my butt to work hard to get to the NBA. Now I can provide for my family, instead of I'm gonna play 1 year, see how it goes, and then just play like that. I would have lost my job. I probably wouldn't even made it to the NBA if that was the case, if I had it there.
Right. I know, I get it, because too much too soon for some people, you can't handle, and it's good. So
and easy.
Well, yeah. It's made what I think hurts the two things hurts the young man, young woman is it's easy to give up and go somewhere and not kind of go through it. But right now, I think the young men and women are understanding the pressure of playing for money, because when they command the money, that whether that's their parents or themselves, they're not thinking about now you're going to be held to a higher standard of what your play is. Like when you came in as a freshman, it was expected that you had to grow and learn. So the fans were patient, and also the program was patient. But now that you're getting paid, guess what? We expect you to play at a certain level. And I don't think the families and those young men and women understand that. They're starting to now, but understood that at the beginning when they were asking for this sum of money.
See, but it's still like, if I screw up here, I'm going to the next one because of what they think I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? So like even if I don't do good here, like we still like his capabilities. We're still going to give him this money. You could just go. It makes it easy, and it's like you're not held accountable for nothing. Like me going to Arizona, there was never in my mind a thought of, if I don't start, I'm going to go somewhere else. My mind was like, I'm starting. I'm coming in. I'm going to do what I'm starting. And it was never in my mind, if I didn't start, I want to tuck my tail and go run somewhere else. Never in my mind once.
Yeah, we'll see how they play off. And before we get out of here, I got to touch on the NBA stuff real quick. I don't know how much you've been following this year, doing all the other stuff you're doing. But it looks like Boston, Cleveland in the East. In the West, OKC. And then after that, it kind of felt, you know what I mean? Because Denver's playing a lot better. Thought Minnesota would be there.
Yeah.
Houston has its limitations because of offense.
Yeah, I think they might be too young too. But
yeah.
Like you look at Denver, like Denver's been there. They got the best player in the NBA. And like you still look at games, they get beat by 30. So, I mean, I know it goes like that sometimes, but sometimes they look bad. Sometimes they look good. I haven't seen OKC look bad yet.
Right.
In any game. So, I mean, I think I have OKC coming out. I have OKC against Boston in the final.
Really? So is it a Boston Cleveland Eastern Conference final?
Yes, I think so, yes.
Who you got Oklahoma playing in the Western Conference?
Denver.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No Memphis, no Lakers.
I don't think they could push over that hump. And like, I mean, there's still some questions about OKC as far as, I mean, they're having a killer regular season.
Yeah.
But you know, Jimmy, as soon as that gets to the playoffs, it's a whole different game.
Yeah. And they haven't been past second round yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like,
that's a group.
But I mean, you can't leave Shea out. You know, Shea is killing right now. I got him for MVP too. So just the stuff that he's doing and the numbers he's putting up, and you're the number one team. You got the number one record in the league. He got the MVP.
So you think that Luka, LeBron combo, second round, but not?
I think they could get through the first round, maybe. Second might be a little tough because, I mean, I like what Austin Reeves is doing, but will Austin Reeves, if you kind of do a defensive, like a crazy defensive game on Luka and make these other guys do anything, I don't think Austin Reeves could come through like that every night.
Yeah.
In the playoffs like that. So, I mean, like you said, it's a different season. It's a different season in the playoffs. Everything's like what your favorites are doing. They don't now. It's going to be harder. You like to go right all the time. They ain't going to make you go right at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be different for some of the guys that like haven't really been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you surprised that the Dame and Giannis thing didn't work? Or it's not working up to this point?
I mean, I don't know. Like you get to a point like who's around them? You know, I love Dame. Like Dame's one of my top point guards in the game today. Giannis is different because Giannis, he's gonna run you over, bowl you over, get the basket. It's like Dame could give you stuff. So I mean, it's like kind of like do we kind of let Giannis get his stuff and kind of try to slow down Dame? But I mean, there's all new coach. Doc's a great coach. I get that, but I never been around him, so I don't really know what he does. But in order for you to be such a great coach and you have two great players like that, something got to come to light.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it can't be. It's either the players or the coach. I mean, it can't be. You know what I mean? The players gonna get the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? And then what they're doing is trying to find younger coaches and stuff to bring them in now so they can relate to these kids. Doc been coaching for a long time. Doc been coaching in our era in different things.
You ain't lying. I played against Doc too. Would make it so bad. I played against Doc.
Damn. Yeah. When's your first year? Like what? 80
92.
What?
I'm talking about the 80, man. 92, man, was my first year, man. Man, whatever, man.
I remember y'all was my favorite team out there, man. Massburn kid, I loved it.
Yeah.
It was my favorite player, man. Watching y'all play, man, it was good look for me, man.
But I tell you what, man, during that time period too, it's funny how you want to be remembered. Like that's the team that most people, of course, our longest tenure, and how continuity didn't play because I had 3 different owners, 4 different coaches in 5 years, and people think that it was. Then I got hurt, then Jamal got hurt, but people think the infighting or Tony Brack broke it up. I said, listen, it wasn't that. We had no stability up top, up
Yeah,
front. And if you don't have, like we had great owners at Sacramento, so you were stable for a certain number of years. You made some incremental changes with rosters, but not everything. So you were stable and you won. We didn't. I had 2 first-year coaches, right? 3 different owners that had 3 different ideas.
How you have 3 different owners in 5 years?
Because man? Donald Carter was who I got drafted by.
Uh-huh.
After my second year, he sold it to David McDavid, who was a car dealer. Mm-hmm. He only had it 1 year. Then he sold it to Ross Perot Jr., who eventually sold it to Mark Cuban later on. Yeah. But and then my rookie year, Richie Adebayo got fired before I got in because I held out. Mm-hmm. So it was Garherd interim. The next year it was Quinn Buckner, first year coach. He only lasted a year. Big Mata, 2, and then my 5th year was Jim Clemens, first year coach. Dang. How we go? I mean, really? How you?
I was doing the same thing in Vancouver. I had 3 coaches and 2 owners in Vancouver as well. I was only there for 3 years.
How you have any kind of continuity?
That's kind of like how you were just talking about Milwaukee. You have those stars there.
Yeah,
they fit or what's going on in the background. People don't say that. Like even in Phoenix, I think they got a good owner that's trying to help the team get better and grow and stuff. But I don't see how they lose with Beal, Booker, and KD. I don't get it. Like I'm here watching it,
right?
And you see like the coach goes to grab KD's arm and he's pull away. That just shows just the kind of the vibes that's going there. I've never really been on a team where I've seen that happen.
Mm-hmm. And
I've been on a few bad teams though too. You know what I mean? So
and still didn't see that.
Yeah. So I mean, you never know what's going on behind these closed doors.
Well, I know you got to travel today, bro, and I appreciate you coming on. And of course, I wish you all the best, and I'm be following you because I know that you'll be able to change the culture there and bring some players in. And before we get out of here, too, like you got a legacy. You built a legacy there in Phoenix from a high school. Of course, you'll always be remembered as one of the greatest point guards that played at Arizona. You got the national championship, revered in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. But how do you want to be remembered for the type of player, but more important, the person you were during your time in NBA?
I just want to be that I made an impact on some people's lives. And, like I said, I'd rather be more known from being a good guy off the court than being a good basketball player. That's just the way it is. And like from people from now on, everybody that sees me, the kids that I've coached, people that I've seen a long time where they always come up and hug me. I don't ever want to change. I want to be the same Mike that's the same way. And like I said, I want to be remembered for off the court stuff more than on.
Bro, that says it all right there, man. I appreciate you, brother. Good luck.
I need you on my podcast too, Straight Game Podcast, Jimmy. I'm going to get you, man.
Get me on there, man.
I got you. We'll have you coming up in a couple of weeks.
Okay, bro. Safe travels today too, man.
Thanks, man.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
Okay, later. Man, what a great conversation. I'm wishing the best for my man, Mike Bibby. I think he can. It's a tough ask. I mean, dealing with NIL, dealing with transfer portal, trying to get young men to come in and buy into a system. But I think if anybody can do it, Mike can do it, and it's who you pick to. I should have asked him, like, from a coaching staff perspective, what he's looking for, but I'm sure he'll figure that part out. So wishing him nothing but the best. Looking forward to the games, not only that I'm doing tonight, but this weekend, to the Crown tournament, the first ever with Fox next week, which fits in between the Elite Eight and the Final Four. Will be in Vegas from next Monday the 31st till April 5th. So it'll be 16 teams competing for the Crown Championship, and I'll be on the call for that, starting on the quarterfinals. So please tune into that. And before I get out of here, man, I know it's a lot of stuff going on in the world, man. I'm just sending some shout outs. There's a lot of changes going on. I read a book and how things are impacting the world, and It's about 25, 30 years ago. And it talked about phasing out, and this is a totally different subject, but you start to see how things are starting to change in our world. What we're used to doing is like kind of going from the radio to the television to now computers and to streaming services, how things change when you're used to it, going from a newspaper, reading it every day, to downloading everything on your computer and how different that is. Well, I read a book 25, 30 years ago about the phasing out of paper money. And it talked about it at the time because it was trying to get to a one world currency. And you hear that a lot nowadays. And to simply put Bitcoin, crypto, that way money exchanges across the world a lot easier, but it's also easier to track. But in this book, it talked about how phasing out money will begin to happen. And it did, because if you look at back then, I think this is mid-90s, I read the book, credit cards were huge. You really didn't have a lot of debit cards at the time, but then credit cards to debit cards to being able to pay for things just with those two aspects. And I think what really accelerated this conversation was during COVID, when cash was not accepted. But even post-COVID, a lot of companies, businesses, stopped accepting cash. Everything had to be done, i.e. the phone, credit card, combination of both. When you're online buying stuff, everything is that way. And it accelerated that process that made it easier for you to say, okay, I don't need the cash. But it's starting to become the norm, kind of like facial recognition. When that first kind of came out, people were like, oh, I don't want to do facial recognition. It's like, it's evasive. It gets into your personal business. So what did the government do? They said, you know what? Facial recognition for your phone. If you go to the airport, you got Clear, get you through. They got you used to using it. So now it wasn't the same threat. So now when you got your iPhone or your computer or your iPad or whatever it is, facial recognition doesn't have the same threat that it did in the past because you're more comfortable. Same way it's going to be with, and it is right now with people using paper dollars. It's not going to be worth anything in the future. Think about it. Right now, how many times do you really have cash on you to pay for something? And I bring that up just because the world is steadily changing in front of our faces. A lot of times we get sidetracked with sports, with music, with entertainment, with something going on, and not seeing the bigger picture of where the actual world is evolving to. And I always say, just pay attention. People are telling you what's going on right in front of you, but a lot of times we're caught up, rightly so, in our own stuff, and we don't pay attention to the changing aspects of what's happening in our world in front of us. And then we get caught off guard, and when things really go down, not prepared for how to react to it. So just something I've been thinking about, something I've been watching. Hopefully you'll pay attention to it too, and kind of prepare yourself for the next stage of what's going to happen, because something is going to happen. We may be out here one day when the system shuts down, trading horses and trading gold and silver and other stuff for bartering, because paper money could be non-existent. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the basketball game. Look forward to catching up with you next week.